All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word, love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's Brother Shatia from the Chicago camp, coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And this is going to be short. I'm in transit to camping with the Everston brothers today, but nonetheless, I just wanted to do a quick in transit. As you all may have known, our boy Orenthal James is now in the spirit world, and it was funny because I was watching the news, I was watching the news, and they just so happened to be talking about it, and the way the media described OJ, man, you would have thought that man was the worst thing happening in the world. They was like, disgraced Hall of Famer OJ Simpson in the NFL, accused of, in the way they introduced OJ, man, they brought up damn near every single bad thing they possibly could when they introduced that man. And I was just like, God dog. I was like, after all the things he did playing in the NFL, and if you old school, he was I want to say he might have been in like the first two Naked Guns with Leslie Nielsen. So he's been in the NFL, he's been in movies. Of course, he was doing he probably was doing advertising for products and a few other things, and despite doing all of those things, he left the world with a disgraceful reputation. The first thing I thought about was just how bad they were bad-mouthing him, and that reminds me of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, all right, when it talks about how I wish I could get it, but I'm driving. But you basically be like wherever you go, there's going to be cursing and vexation. All right, somebody's always going to have something bad to say about you. You'll be a proverb and a byword, disgraced Hall of Famer, alleged criminal. All right, all these titles were put in front of his name when they were talking about OJ. All right, and then with that being said, I also thought about that other precept. I think it might be in Proverbs, where it talks about how it's around the wording of how a choice name is better than fine gold. It's better than all the riches in the world. Just putting it in layman's terms, to have a good rep and a good name is better than any type of treasure. All right. And OJ left the world with a horrible reputation. As I said, this guy was in the NFL. All right. He was in movies, advertising products. And at the end of the day, what is he known for? Being an alleged criminal that deleted his woman. And he was a good football player. That's it. That's all he's known for, being a good football player and an alleged criminal that deleted his wife. That's a very shameful reputation to have and to leave behind. All right. And see, this is why the Lord tells us to set your affections on things above, not things on the earth. All right. Because anything you try to establish on this earth, anything you try to establish under bad Uncle Esau's kingdom is going to be tainted. All right. It's either going to be corrupted and slightly broken, or it's going to be completely broken and destroyed. All right. And there's many guys like OJ out there that, as the scripture says, what is a man profit if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? Or what would a man give in exchange for his soul? All right, you got a lot of these guys like OJ, all right, who thought they was doing the big thing, being accepted into society, especially at a time where the racial tensions were a lot more. Well, I can't say they're pretty strict right now, but we'll say 25 years ago, all right, the racial tension wasn't as high as it was. The racial tension now, or 25 years ago, I should say, wasn't as bad as it was when OJ was alive. That's probably the best way to put it. All right. But seeing as OJ was this big football player, all right, getting all the lovely snow bunnies and having a good old time, all right, he thought he was on top of the world. And then look at his latter end. Shamed and disgraced. And that reminds me of one of the Psalms. I want to say it's in the 70s. I can't remember which one. It might be 73, but don't quote me on that one. If you know it, please put it in the description box. But King David talks about how his feet almost slipped when he saw the prosperity of the wicked. Now, granted, that's talking about, first and foremost, bad Uncle Esau, but you do have the wicked amongst our people who ain't trying to get right, that put money over God instead of God over money. All right, you do have the wicked of our people. But King David talks about how his feet almost slipped when he saw the prosperity of the wicked. To sum it up, how they live prosperous lives, everything went their way. But towards the end of that chapter, King David says, that's when I went into the house of the Lord. And then when he learned the truth and started reading about the Bible, he knew about their latter end. And he said that their latter end is not prosperous. And that's exactly what happened to Mr. OJJJ. All right. He had an ending that was very shameful. The last, I would say the last 15 to 20 years of his life was horrible. In and out of court, name dragged through the media, died of prostate cancer, and it's been rumored that OJ, all right, Mr. Juice took the juice. So, that's a possibility within itself. But nonetheless, it still doesn't change the fact that that man's latter years were filled with nothing but pain and misery and anguish. Once again, this is why we state, hey, if you ain't doing it for the Lord, it don't mean nothing. Because if you try to live it up big and buddying with the enemy and trying to make something in this world, it's going to come to naught. All right? You want a good reputation in the eyes of the Lord. You want a reputation that, as the scripture says in the end, he's going to say, well done, good and faithful servant. Hey, man, that's the rep we want to have. And that's the rep that everyone should strive for. Because that's the only thing that truly means anything in this entire world. How the Lord sees you. And how you want the Lord to look at you at the end of the day. That's all that matters. So That's all I wanted to say on this. I hope you all were edified. Till the next time, we're going to say Shalom.